all of you are blasted or bombarded with imagery all day. It's your Instagram, it's your Facebook, it's your mobiles. Everybody is really visually oriented, and what I do in this business is give you tits and bits of information that will actually help you create images or imagine things, or actually will destroy the image you have of certain things. So I want to start close to home, and give me the first picture, please. Okay, I don't want this to be like a total one-way street, so you're not supposed to ask questions, which we'll reserve for later, but does it ring a bell? What's this? Because this is where, you know, you have a, is this jungle? No, because it looks too well kept. Does it anything you know? Somebody can tell me it's autumn, or, you know, how does our eye work? Our eye works and goes to the light first. It sees colors. Okay, so one thing is decided already on this image is probably autumn. Then I said, let's start close to home, so maybe that's another pointer. It has to be somewhere around Amsterdam. So this is a guy doing Tai Chi exercises in Vondelpark. And most of you have cycled through Vondelpark, and how many of you have stopped and wondered at, like, or being drawn into an image? Because that's what it is. I walk, I bicycle, I go to work, but I always have a camera. What happens is, zoom, I get like sucked into this image because I see the light, I see the colors, and then I wait. And then sometimes you wait for your things to come together, and this guy puts his bicycle against the tree and actually stops and says, am I in your image? And I'm like, just do what you were going to do. Starts to do his Tai Chi exercises, and for me, like, everything falls into place. But you're seeing basically things that you're through my eye. Plus, I choose the lens, I choose the angle, I go low. You know, you understand? So if you're seeing images on your mobiles and stuff, and when you're looking at stuff, you have to remember that what you're seeing is not, it's not everything. It's not a objective. It's a subjective interpretation of reality. Have the next, please. What's this? Who is this? Okay, somebody said Obama. Very good. Why? No, but it's important. Look, why? Because everybody recognizes this gait, his stride, his silhouette. It's enough. It's enough. So that's what makes a different news image. I was there from 6 or 5 o'clock in the morning, waiting on a riser to shoot this picture. My first image that I saw that morning was a security guard checking the perimeter, and I shot some frames, and I thought, this makes a nice frame. The only thing that bothers me is a small minor detail, but it's not completely clean. These guys, just by the way they're standing, they're security guards, and that's what frames. And I frame this, and I don't need him completely, and just get this, and see this whole thing comes together. That's when you're looking at images, you have to realize what's going on in your brain. Everybody now knows, yeah, we know it's Obama because we've already seen images of him. His stride or his silhouette is familiar. Another one close to home. These are not people looking at some fair where they're going to buy ship masts. That's our minds, our eyes scan this image and first see the mast, see people. What's this? Dutch flag? Okay, it has to be Holland. Holland, bicycles, Holland, dike. Okay, so your mind races when they look at images. They race and they interpret all these little minute details and put them together and say, oh, this got to be what? Sail. Sail, Amsterdam, people watch the tall ships enter through the canal. It's not a very good image, but it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 image. Everything comes together. Another one. Also, I took some things close to home, so this is really, I just shot it this weekend, so I went around for a travel story in Amsterdam, come up with a few frames on this Amsterdam Light Festival. But you can, if you show me the next slide, have this in mind. That's a long lens, and this is an extremely wide lens. Okay, so my first frame, if you come back, gives more of an idea of people and canal and houses, typical Amsterdam, bridges illuminated. And the next one gives you a little bit more of people coming to see statues. So what do I want to say? That's, if I'm shooting pictures, that's what's going through my mind. And I just know that it's only by being conscious of elements that you can actually construct a good image. This one, I think, is kind of boring. So I don't mind putting in some bad pictures. It's not a really bad picture, but it's not something great. So I have to find a different way to illustrate it. Where this, for me, this thing is called House of Cards. It's outside Central Station, and you can actually have a lot of fun if you go and walk around and look at these things. So it's a fun little excursion. It's going to take you half an hour on a bicycle, and perfect. So this couple was standing there. I don't know, honestly, and that's what has to do with suggestion, and that's the way it works. Everybody thinks this couple is in love, okay? Why? Because there's this triangle, there's a little heart. Okay, so I framed it, and do I lie or do I don't? Do I lie with this? I don't know. I just thought it was a nice frame, and I come in and I see it and I frame it and I send it. I'm going to show you three little screenshots of TV something RTV Oost. It's a regional TV station that filmed Her Majesty Queen Beatrice at that point, because this is in 2000, going to visit the disaster, the national disaster where a fireworks factory exploded and destroyed I don't know how many homes. So that's the first one. Of course, you have this grey old man here, not that grey at that point, going and shooting pictures of Her Majesty. See him, and then the next frame is this. I decided, so the Queen was going around and all the Dutch press was following Beatrice and shooting pictures of her. And I decided that, that's for me it's not the story. Internationally speaking, I need one frame of Her Majesty visiting that site. But what was more important, and nobody ever seen the scope of the destruction. Can you see it all there? Do you want to move a bit to the side? So to get the scope of destruction, the area was closed off. Nobody could get in. They didn't want that image to come out. So I used my axis with the Queen to split off and go into the side streets, and I literally shot 3 frames before I was picked up by police and escorted out. But these 3 frames were enough. It's the see, like it comes back on a book cover. It's the only image to see or to give an idea of the vastness of fish. So not only when you're seeing images, you're seeing them through my eyes or some other photographer's eyes, but you're also depending on his or her drive to come up with a different image. Bring you to South Africa, where I've been going for a while, and I know some of you guys are going for your CAS things. Just put a few pictures in. Sorry, you go back. Again, when you're looking at this frame, what do you see? I basically see all white people. And the only thing that would give it away a little bit is that they all seem to have this little thing. So this requires, it says NP, which stands for Nationale Partij. It's the National Party. At that time was de Klerk's picture. So I wanted to have I went to shoot different kinds of parts of that story. So this only identifiable by NP to people who know it. Okay, if you're reading newspapers, we'll come to that, then you also have some text. If you're looking at images and you're not looking at the caption, as we call it, the piece of text that goes with the picture, sometimes you're at loss, like the guy in the woods, or the guy in the park, where you don't know what's happening. So there you actually need text. You need a caption. It means who, what, when, where, why. The famous 5 W's. Okay. Next, please. Okay. As a contrast to the to the kind of more sober and arranged gathering. This is a gathering for Mandela, where you see ANC youth waiting and chanting. I've always seen these gatherings as joyful. They were full of life, and the people were chanting, people were having fun. And this immense scenes, like this was an Easter weekend, and these are members of the ZCC, Zion Christian Church in South Africa, very big church with a lot of followers. And they were waiting for Nelson Mandela. It was massive. It was always massive. If Mandela would show someplace, there would be crowds galore. Like this. See, they were lining the roads for him, waiting. They waited. These people were there. We were there at 5 in the morning. They had to wait till 11 or 12, and without, nobody's complaining. It's chanting. It's till the elections started to have first free all-race elections, and talk again about something like how our images delivered to you is there was a Zulu march on Johannesburg for the same first all-race elections. There was a lot of violence in the running up to this. And at some point, colleagues of mine said there's been an attack on the Shell House, which was the ANC headquarters. Are you coming? And I don't know why. I told them, I'm like, no. I want to stay with this demo. I couldn't explain it. There was some kind of like weird feeling. And I said, no, I'm not going. I said, you go, you shoot this, I'm going to stick with this demo. And I think less than 5 or 7 minutes later, the whole thing erupted in chaos and mayhem, because they had the so-called third force. You had white police officers trying to destabilize the country and shot into this crowd, and everybody just flew in all directions. And see, so you have a wide shot of the, using a wide angle when it happens and taking cover behind a wall, and then when the hectic is over, the people start crawling out from under cars where they took cover. And see, like I'm using a longer lens to shoot this, I'm using a wider lens. Every time I'm making choices. Why do you shoot this vertical? Because of the body and those two whites contrasting, talking, standing there like if nothing happened. Please, all the time when you're picking up your camera, it's like when I'm standing here. Given this example before for another lecture, if I'm standing here, I can shoot this wine. I can shoot and show everybody. I can single out a person. I can single out 2 people. I can single out school bags to show it's a school. I can shoot it with the piano. So you're thinking they're watching a musical performance. I'm always using elements in my pictures. Elements that help tell a story. And when you're looking at imagery, you're doing the same thing. After one of these election gatherings, people walk home, and then we get the images of what it was all about, which is the first free all-race election. And more importantly, the man himself voting, very charismatic. And it's not, again, I put in some pictures that are not so good, just to tell you that certain pictures are documents. They are necessary, because this is what this man's been fighting for all of his life, to cast his first free all-race election vote in this box. But it's a stupid picture, I'm sorry. Yes, it's charismatic because it's Mandela, but the picture in itself is not very good. As when you go to photo shoots, sometimes I have to go what we call a photo call. Or when Obama comes, you get these handshake pictures, we call it a spray. Just go in for 5 seconds, and you're out again. Okay? Yeah, but that's the way it goes. It's just like, it's this hectic. When you go into the International War Crimes Tribunal, you're going to have to shoot one of the court cases that are happening there. The guy walks in, takes a seat, it's like, sits, and you have to leave, okay? And that's where my eye or my drive to come up with something different comes in. So that was the first thing, that's the second picture. Still okay, but this is what I really like. Why? because it isolates Mandela. You have a good face and you have the reverence of the people. This helps. Apparently all these things here that help tell you that this man is admired or is loved or whatever. You know, these things help. And when I come out from a shoot that's basically a crap shoot, 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 seconds, but nothing special, and you come out instead of a handshake with something like this, that's happy. For me, that's happiness. I like that. That's what drives me in this business. Or here, this is for Mandela's funeral. So also been back over the course of years, and this is recently last December. I think it's a year ago. On a demonstration, people wanted to show their love for Mandela. Okay, so I have 17 versions of this picture because you know, when sometimes you have something in your hands, you feel it's good, and you just have to keep working that situation. I have close-ups of the hand with the face behind. I'm not going to show all of that but in the end, I think the face, South African flag, for me, that works best. That's what's called editing. So basically, what you're seeing again is not only my eye and my different lenses and my different crops, you're also seeing my editing. I'm distilling basically images out of 100 or 60, it doesn't matter. I'm distilling what you're seeing. Like this. Rest in peace, Nelson Mandela. I think this was besides that picture, but the whole ceremony in the stadium was the biggest disappointment ever, because all I've seen with Mandela, wherever he went, there were people dancing, chanting, you know, it's a party. And it started like that in the stadium, and the officials asked everybody to stop singing and to keep quiet. And we sat through 6 or 8 hours, I don't remember how long. It was horrendously long and horrendously boring, and it was nothing the man ever deserved. The only good thing for me was that I saw the kid, I just had to wait, and you just have to wait till it comes together. So wait, he's not looking up to the skies, he's probably looking up to I don't know, but it comes together.